Hi there, does TEFL accreditation matter? Okay, so if you're thinking about teaching, abroad and you're thinking about getting TEFL or TESOL certified and you're worrying about this accreditation, if it matters, if it doesn't matter, why is it there for? Basically, accreditation is like some organization, body says, we give our stamp of approval on this course. Or, just accreditation in general is like that. It could be on a school, it could be on a product, something like that, all courses aren't necessarily accredited. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's good or bad because it is or it isn't, It doesn't mean that. It's just basically, it's a form of social proof, right? When we buy things and stuff like that, we look at reviews, we look at testimonials, So we say, oh, these people said this about it, or it's got good reviews or something, so maybe I'm going to buy it. So people are like that, So they need that social proof before they, buy something or something like that, right? So, yeah, in my experience, I taught in China, Korea, and Taiwan. Nobody ever asked me if my course was accredited or not. So I think this is basically something between, I think it's a little bit has to do with marketing, a little bit, between the schools themselves, the competition between the schools themselves, It's nobody ever asked me if my course was accredited or not. I worked in like 20 or more schools, part-time, full-time, or as a substitute teacher, And on top of that, I've looked at a lot of jobs in Asia, like, I've always been looking for like the perfect teaching job. So just looking for a good job, basically. So I spent a lot of time online looking at jobs, applying to jobs, and nobody ever asked me that. What questions they might ask you? They might ask you how many hours it is. So if you're taking a course and you're applying, and an employer, what kind of questions might they actually ask about your course? I'd say the only thing that they're probably going to ask is how many hours it was. Excuse me. That's it. I don't think anybody's going to ask you any other questions about your course, You could have a school that might ask you more questions than that about it. However, I don't think so. If you get a question, there's no guarantee that you're going to ask you questions about it. So, the other thing too, you look at it, like accreditation exists also for universities and colleges. So if you went to university, since that you've gone to university, since that you've been to university and you apply to jobs and that sort of thing, has an employer ever asked you, oh, is the university you went to accredited? No. I don't think anybody's ever asked you that. I think that'd be kind of strange or an unusual question to ask. So I say the same thing exists for TEFL courses and TESOL courses. It's the same thing. Employers aren't going to ask you that question. That's my opinion. You could meet someone that may ask you that question, of course. So I think it's basically like competition between the course. How one course can stand out from another, something like that, It can be a mark of quality, Someone says, hey, this is a good course. It can be. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is, or not, Basically, yeah, I look at it like it's a form of social proof, right? Someone approves. It's like a testimonial. It's like a review, something like that, However, look at your experience, and if you've had a job and if you went to university, did anybody ask you about your accreditation or not? I don't think so. If your university was accredited or not, I don't think so, right? So, yeah, you decide if it matters or not. Okay, the only other thing that I could add to what I just said about TEFL accreditation is, this may make me sound like I'm biased telling you this, of course. However, ESL Insider also has an online TEFL course that you can take, right? And is it accredited? Accredited at the moment? No, it's not. It's not accredited. So, however, you can go to the site. You can look at the testimonials. Look at what people are saying. People are getting jobs. Like I said, employers don't ask you these sort of questions whether it's accredited or not. That's my opinion. Again, an employer could ask you that. However, in my experience, never happened. Nobody ever asked me that. So yeah, just to let you know that. Okay.